Douglas Cooling and Heating, serving the Birmingham area for 38 years. 988-3706. That's Douglas.
I'm James Spann. This is the morning edition of the Weather Xtreme video. This is for Monday, the 1st of August. Hey, time to crank up the hurricane season. This is typically when things get active, and sure enough, we have potential action out there. Let's go to some of the Skycam shots around the network early this morning. First off, the view coming from Decatur up in the Tennessee Valley. Looking at the lights glistening off the Tennessee River on a warm, fair midsummer morning. There's the Inverness Skycam overlooking US 280 at the ridiculous hour of 5 o'clock. Not many people out there driving early this morning. And from Fayette up in northwest Alabama, things are nice and quiet. Ooh, that old nasty heat ridge is nosing in here. You know what that means? Yeah, it's going to be pretty nasty this week in terms of the heat. We'll be well up in the 90s this week. And humid, just, typically this is the hottest part of summer. End of July, 1st of August, and sure enough, here we go. Most of the active convection is on the periphery of the heat bubble, up on the top especially. Temperatures yesterday, guess what? Triple digits over Oklahoma. Man, have they had a nasty summer or what? Looked like the heat out there peaked at 106, just north of Lake Texoma. There's any water left in that lake. Probably it all evaporated after this summer. Again, Dallas, Fort Worth, Oklahoma City, Sherman, Denison, Wichita Falls, Childress, Tulsa. It's been tough. And around here, highs were mostly in the 90s yesterday. Check the watch warning map. Things pretty quiet around the nation. Looks like parts of Nevada under a flash flood watching. Way up north, just issued a new severe thunderstorm watch until noon Central Time for a pretty good chunk of Minnesota for that big thunderstorm cluster that is riding the top of the heat bubble. Up on the watch warning map, slight risks up north on the Canadian border and for a large chunk of the Northeast, including the big population centers up there, Philadelphia, New York City, and Boston. And the old C-text down here. And again, really the better chance of thunderstorms today will be across the southern half of the state. Up in North Alabama, they should be fairly hard to find. And day 2, a slight risk around the Great Lakes. Rain for the next 5 days. For North Alabama, probably not much. This is valid through Friday evening at 7 o'clock. And this is showing rainfall amounts of only, a tenth of an inch. With the better totals down south, and even down in South Alabama, the activity is going to be pretty scattered down there as the heat ridge takes over. All right, tropics. This is kind of the big news, and this thing hasn't developed. I mean, really, when we spoke on Friday, many of the models had suggested this thing would be Hurricane Emily by now. It's not even a tropical depression yet. The disturbance is approaching the windward and the leeward islands, and other than that, the tropics are quiet. It seems like the convection is trying to get its act together, but of course we've been saying that all weekend long. We had a hurricane hunter out in that region yesterday, and there was some communications issue, and a lot of the data initially did not get into the models, but I would imagine they have come back now, and the data is in. So let's check modeling on this. Very good consistency. Clearly, this looks like it will not be a Gulf of Mexico storm. So for those of you that have a beach trip in about 5 to 7 days, that can let you breathe a little easier. Of course, we all know anything can happen, but for now, the models are in very good agreement that this thing will be running across really south of Puerto Rico, across Hispaniola, and coming up to the Bahamas. Now, that Hispaniola, track is going to be problematic for this because that is a very mountainous island, and often it can just tear these things apart. But if it makes it, it is expected to come up through the Bahamas. And, of course, from there, it's got the option of recurving or maybe threatening Florida. And we just don't know that yet. I mean, this thing is not developed. It is just way too early to make a call. The intensity models have really backed down. Again, Friday, many of these things ramped it up to a major hurricane. Well, you've only got 2 that do it now. And most of the models keep this thing, quite frankly, as a tropical storm. And again, that could have something to do with the potential track over Hispaniola, the interaction with land. So really still more questions than answers on this potential Emily. But we'll watch it. But again, the chances of it being a Gulf storm continue to lessen. And that's good news for our friends down south around here. We'll check the modeling. This is the OZGFS, valid at 7 o'clock this evening. Oh, the old 594 ridge beginning to nose in here. Still the core's west of us, but as it noses in, that means hardly any showers and the heat cranks up. The GFS is at 98 today. The NAM is at 97. We'll probably knock the numbers down a little bit in respect to the soil moisture, mid-90s. But the humidity is going to be sky high. I say sky high. The GFS does mix the dew points down in the mid-60s today, but still high enough. Tomorrow, just a strong ridge all across the deep south. The flow aloft is weak out of the north, and again, that looks dry and hot. Again, upper 90s on both models. Wednesday, ridge even stronger. The GFS is at 101. Now, it's been too hot all summer long. I don't think it does that. Now, there could be somebody in West Alabama that hits 100, but I think upper 90s are likely. Just look at Thursday. Again, all across the board now, I think we can say upper 90s, and Friday, same thing. And you can see the chance of rain is just pretty small. Although, remember, this is summer, and there's always the chance of a shower somewhere, but obviously in this kind of environment, you're not going to see a lot of them, hardly any. And we note what could be Emily coming up through the Bahamas on the GFS Friday evening. Go to Saturday. Heights come down a little bit, and that might open the door for a little increase in convection. And the GFS has Emily really close to around West Palm Beach, Fort Lauderdale, something like that, north of Miami. And then Sunday, the thing kind of parallels the east coast of Florida. And around here, there could be enough moisture for a few scattered showers and storms. And the GFS is dropping highs back in the mid-90s from the upper 90s. And a week from today, the 594 ring moves well to the west. Down below that, the moisture increases, rain chances come up, heat levels come down, and Emily is, again, on the recurve track paralleling the South Atlantic coast. I mean, the GFS brings this thing really close to, Southeast Florida, and then it bounces and goes back out. But we just don't know if that's going to happen yet. We'll check the end of the forecast, August 16th. Deep troughing over the east, westerlies dropping farther south, and that looks like the heat might not be as intense later this month, and that would be a good thing. That's it for the Weather Xtreme video today. We'll have notes on the blog. The next video here by 3:30 or so this afternoon. And if you're local to us, we invite you to watch us on television this evening, ABC 3340 in Birmingham at 5, 6, and 10. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day, and God bless.
Thank you for trusting us to be your #1 source for news
in all of Central Alabama.
in back-to-back ratings periods.
More people watched ABC 3340
than any other station in Birmingham.